This policy was really a very good policy. It had lots and lots of developmental projects in its sphere. For example, another one, literacy corps comprising of colleges, universities, students and teachers shall be established for literacy programs during the summer. Again, telling university that your teachers and students will be required to do this. How were they going to do it? Where were the guidelines? Who was going to develop the guidelines? And if this was across the country, across the 4 provinces, who was going to make sure that all this happens in all the provinces and it happens the same? What were they supposed to do? Literacy programs during the vacation. So summer vacation is about 2 months. Was the same program run for an entire 2 months? Was it a 1-month program run twice? How many people would be enrolled in the program? All these kinds of guidelines needed to be specified. Now, maybe some universities and some teachers and students did it. Most probably did not. Otherwise, our literacy numbers would have changed drastically. We don't see that drastic change that reflects that some of these things were actually carried out. If these things were carried out, I think our literacy numbers would be way higher than what we see. So again, on paper, things look very good, but where is the implementation? If an illiterate prisoner becomes literate, the duration of his or her imprisonment shall be condoned accordingly. Now, prisoners in prison, who was going to go and make those prisoners literate? What would be the time frame of condonement? Would it become 1 year less, 2 years less? Would the rest of the time frame be gone, taken away? See, again, guidelines were missing. Would it be up to the prisoners? Would it be a choice? Would it be their option to enroll in a literacy program? Or were they forced? Were all the prisoners required to do it? All that would make a difference. If I'm given a choice and I choose to become literate, I think I would work harder. If I'm forced by somebody outside, by a third party to become literate, I may not be as excited, I may not be as willing to put in the hard work. So again, guidelines are critical. Simply passing statements are not good enough. So, with this, again, I think it's a good step. Yes, if prisoners could be made literate, if prisoners could be made more ethical and moral individuals, there's nothing better for society. But then again, you need guidelines, you need accountability. Who was going to go? Who would be willing to go into a prison and teach and try to make murderers and people like that into literate individuals? It's a risk. Who was going to take that risk? Again, you see, without guidelines, without any pre-thinking of how this is going to happen, who will be responsible for making it happen? Were the jail superintendents even considered in this decision before the decision was made? Or was this again thrown on the jail superintendents? This is what you have to do with your prisoners. Well, really, how am I supposed to do it? Who is going to help me do it? Where am I going to find the people to come and work with these inmates and make them into literate, constructive individuals for society? That is key. Development grants to local governments shall be linked with literacy programs. Now, when you tie money with literacy, I'm willing to bet that I'm going to give you a very good report on how many individuals I made literate. Why? Because I want the money. See, money should not be tied with social development. Money cannot be tied with economic development. Money cannot be tied with growth in the social realm. You have to offer other incentives. When you offer other incentives, people will take the job seriously. But if I want the money and if it's good money, well, I'll tell you, I made 100,000 individuals literate in 3 months. Really? Who's going to go and check and test? the 100,000 individuals, and see truly how literate they've become. Nobody has that kind of time, and no one is going to do it. So my report on paper that I submit will be sufficient to get me the grant. That's what I want. That's what I got. Why would I work harder? Again, it is, where were the guidelines for this? How much money was going to be given? How many people were to be made literate? How would the literacy of those individuals be tested? Who would monitor all this? Was missing. We need to make sure that in our endeavor for universal education, we make sure that guidelines are given to individuals who can then go out and implement what we want done.